Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name's John. I got options, and today we have to talk about Tesla's Q1 2024 earnings. Now, I'm not going to go through all the financials. You can find that elsewhere. Go listen to the earnings call. It was a great earnings call. But I just want to go over some major points, things that really stuck out to me in the earnings call. But before we do that, let's look at the chart real quick, because Tesla on the technical side is at a really interesting spot. Now, this is the 1 week candlesticks of Tesla. And as you can see, going into that earnings call, we were at this extreme low of around $140, $145 a share. Now, you can see that correlates back to, what was it, back in 2020. We're going all the way back to 2020 levels on Tesla stock, where we have this major support area around the 150s, the high 140s. So this zone is very interesting because it's likely to be a really strong support level. So going into this earnings call, I thought one of two things is going to happen. Either the stock's going to hold at this level and we're going to pop pretty aggressively, which we kind of did, or Elon's going to fuck this one up, which he did not, thank God. And we would have crashed probably to the $100 level. And I actually had some $100 puts, but of course those were worthless, thank God. So I was hedging my position, didn't need the hedge, which is great. But anyways, that's the technicals. And now that we bounced though, now that we have this candle, and this 1 week candle is not complete yet. It's only going to be completed Friday. So if this candle closes, if we close above this 170 level, then that's going to be extremely bullish for Tesla because we'll have this engulfing candle. Now, I'm not too crazy about just going off technicals and all of that. I really want to dig into the fundamentals of the business and what's actually creating these little candles that we're looking at on our screen. But it is fascinating to watch because these support levels do have significant meaning and they do give us a lot of signal in the markets. Now, let's go over some major points that I have, things that I found really interesting from the call. So first and foremost, and this was the major thing that I really wanted to hear about, is the megapacks. So we had a record deployment when it came to the megapacks. And when I looked at the financials, right, I saw we were at like 1.6 billion in revenue from energy. So that's interesting. And then they said that they're at 24.6% margins on the energy business. So they made about $400 million just from energy this quarter. Now think about that for a moment. $400 million this quarter in 3 months from just energy. So they're over $1 billion in income that they're getting straight to the bottom line just from the energy business. This is not the car business. So, and this business, the energy business, the megapack specifically, is growing. They said it should grow at 75% from 2023 to 2024. So, because what's happening is you're having the Lathrop factory ramping up, and you're having, I believe, a factory in Shanghai is being deployed. So that is the one thing that I really, really wanted to see and hear more information about. Because while the car business is so-so, all right, we know the car business is so-so, and we know why it's so-so. It's because Elon's not advertising on all these sports, different, hockey, basketball, all these different areas he could be advertising, and Tesla could be booming. We could be selling a lot of cars, but we're not, because he's not listening to me about advertising. But just like everything else, Tesla will eventually listen to me. Elon will listen to me. Don't worry. Have faith. So what else do we have? Okay, we had a doubling in training compute for full self-driving. This is a major thing to be thinking about when it comes to Tesla, is their AI and their compute and their training. So Elon was not joking when he said that they're like one of NVIDIA's biggest customers, like as in like top 3. So Elon is like buying all the H100s they can buy. Okay, so any H100s, they're loading the bag. They're loading the bag so hard on H100s from Jensen Wang over at Nvidia that they're literally had a negative cash flow of $2.5 billion because of how much they want these H100s. Because Tesla has realized now the way that they're training the FSD model that these H100s are extremely valuable to the speed at which we get Robotaxi. It is the one thing that's the one piece that you can pull down on that's going to create full self-driving faster is how many H100s can we have and the efficiency of those H100s. He was adamant on telling us it's not just about how many H100s you have, it's about how efficient you are with those H100s. So that was interesting. Then we got some clarity on that. Now this was the major thing, and I believe this is why the stock was, booming, you could say. So we have next vehicle launch for early 2025, if not late this year. And everyone's saying early 2025, but they're forgetting to mention the second part in that little piece that Elon said, which is if not late this year, which means that it could be even before 2025. So we're literally potentially months away from a new Tesla vehicle launching. And this vehicle is going to be smaller. It's going to be the compact, whatever. It's going to be like a hybrid compact Model 3 is what I'm guessing. And this vehicle is probably going to be the same vehicle that they show us on 8/8. They're going to unveil, which is the cyber cab that they're calling it. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to showcase the cyber cab as, this robo taxi, and it's going to have no steering wheel. It's going to have no pedals. He's going to show us the full blown, this is a real robo taxi on 8/8. And then I believe at the same exact moment, he's going to sell that same exact vehicle with a steering wheel and with pedals to actual consumers. So I think he's going to hit the $25K compact car that everyone's so worried about at the same time that he's going to try and do the robo taxi. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, what's interesting about this comment is that he said we're not going to need any new factory to start building this vehicle. Okay, so obviously down the road, we're going to have Giga Mexico opening up. But before that, we're going to be able to build this vehicle with just the current factories. And on top of that, we can use the current lines, as in the Model 3, the Model Y lines, to build this vehicle. So that was major news for the market. And that was probably the highlight of this entire earnings call. But let's keep going. So half of 1.8 million vehicles are using FSD. So now that FSD is out there, they're really pushing FSD. And like I said, FSD is legit and Robotaxi is around the corner when Elon starts really pushing for the subscription model of full self-driving. So beforehand, FSD was only a one-time payment. Then all of a sudden it was a subscription. Oh, you can pay $200 a month and get full self-driving. You don't have to pay the $15,000. That dropped now to $12,000 and now just dropped down to $8,000. And I've been saying it needs to be $3,000 because that's what the free market says that FSD is actually worth. But anyways, that's a side tangent. The point is that they're coming out with a subscription model, which is the way it should be done. There honestly shouldn't be a way to buy this full self-driving as like a one-time payment, all right? You don't pay Netflix one time. Hey, Netflix, can I pay you $10,000 and just have a subscription for life? Oh, can I be an Amazon Prime member and just pay you like $8,000 and just have a subscription for life? No, you pay monthly for all this stuff, all right? You even pay monthly for your phone now. People don't even buy phones. You just pay whatever a month, and then you have your phone. So nothing in our world is a one-time payment thing. Everything in our world is all about subscription, especially when it comes to software and tech, right? Even what I'm using right now, this video software, I pay like $19 a month for it. They don't give me an option to be like, oh, pay $500 and just have it for a lifetime. No, that's dumb, okay? So Elon's going to get it. Eventually, he'll understand. I'm sure he's watching this video and he's going to listen to me. Anyways, half of the 1.8 million vehicles are now using FSD because they came out with FSD for everybody for free, right? And so that line is a little gray to me when he says half of them are using FSD, because it's like, how many of them are paying? Like, they're probably all just on the free membership. What we really want to know, and what we didn't get clarity on, is the take rate. How much of those people are turning into monthly subscribers? That's the key information that we need that Tesla will not give us. All right. They definitely don't want to give that information out yet. They'll give it out later, but not right now. So that is, let's say you have your car, you have your Model 3, whatever. You do the 1 month free FSD. Then after your month's up, are you subscribing or not? That's what we need to know. We need to know the percentage of people that are subscribing. That's like the major key question that we have. Go into my other little sticky note. There we go. So over here I wrote, energy business is growing 24.6%. We talked about that. Energy biz growing 75% from 2023 to 2024. So that's interesting. We already talked about that. And Optimus working in the factory by the end of the year. So that was something that I had to write down, which is talking about Optimus. We barely talked about Optimus on this call, which I kind of liked. I kind of like that. Like, that's a little too far out. The main thing about this call was really like, we're pivoting from let's sell vehicles to let's do Robotaxi, because Robotaxi's here and we're ready. So, but they did mention Optimus. So Optimus is working in the factory right now, but he said in the lab. So he's like, it's still testing, right? But he's saying that it's going to be legitimately working in the factory by the end of the year. And then he said, we might be selling Optimus externally by the end of 2025. So that's like what? 18 months from now, Tesla could legitimately have revenue coming in from selling a robot to other companies. Like, did you just hear what I said? I said 18 months from now, Tesla could be receiving revenue from selling a robot to other companies. This part of the call was totally blown over by, the people listening and just people in general. Like, I have not heard a single thing, not a single article, not a single comment from a YouTuber, nothing about Tesla saying by the end of next year they could be selling Optimus to other companies. That to me was like, that's huge. Like, they start doing that happens, the stock will be at 400, no problem. Okay? But again, I think the reason why no one's talking about it really is because Elon's been so aggressive in like his comments about what's going on with the company, and lately he's been missing on all these comments, right? When it comes to Giga Mexico, that was a big blow to his like credibility on timing. The Cybertruck, but the Cybertruck's coming now, but still we announced the Cybertruck and 4 years went by before we actually got it. And even now we're only doing like 50K a year run rate. So, Giga Mexico should be built right now. It should be fully blown, but it's not. We're barely even done anything over there. So now when he says something like, oh, Optimus out by end of next year, the market's like, whatever. We'll see it when we see it. Which, I understand that. But at the same time, it's like, Elon should only be getting better at his commentary and timing and predictions of things in the market, right? He should only be getting better as time goes on. He shouldn't be getting worse, you would think. So that was interesting. I had to talk about that. So what else we have? Cybertruck, we're doing 1K a week. Like I said, 50K a year. So that's pretty cool. I mean, go back 3 months ago, we were at 0K, right? So we go 3 months, we went from 0 to 1K, which tells me, give us another quarter. Next earnings call, we might be, hey, we're on a 100K a year run rate. That's going to be their like big thing they're going to say. We're at a 100K a year Cybertruck run rate. Now, my only worry with Cybertruck is the demand really there? Are people really going to buy that truck? Especially at the price? Like, you're going to have to start selling like the single motor. I'm thinking if you start selling the single motor, and if we can actually sell it for like under 70K, if you're out the door under 70K, I think the market will eat that up. you'll be able to build and sell, 100K plus of that. Right now, obviously, there's only there's only a couple thousand, 20,000, 30,000, maybe by what, 6 months from now, Cybertrucks out there. So there's a lot of demand for that, for those Cybertrucks. So you can sell it at six-figure price, no problem. But as soon as you eat through all that demand, then you're going to need to lower the price to keep that demand going. So my question is, what's going to be the yearly run rate of Cybertrucks that we can sell, in the 60K, 70K range, right? Because let's be honest, the Cybertruck's not going to be a 40K vehicle. There's no way. So it's going to be that 60K, 70K range. How many can we sell? What's the demand? There's a demand level. There's a certain level of people that are going to buy that every year. But the question is, how much is it? Is it 100,000? Is it 200,000? Is it 300? Maybe it's 500,000. I don't know. The truck market is huge, but again, the Cybertruck is weird. Let's be honest. So what's that going to be? And then last but not least, we had the firing of 10% of the staff, which was huge news. That was last week. And as soon as that news hit the market, as soon as it hit, I was in the gym with my buddy, and I was like, boom. I saw the headline, Tesla firing 10% of the staff, blah, blah, blah. Or I saw the number, how many, it was 14,000. And I was like, how many Tesla employees are there? 140,000. I was like, oh, that makes sense. 10%. Perfect. Elon just came in the room. He said, yo, we need to fire like 10% of the staff. We need to trim the fat. And he talked about it on the earnings call, and he talked about it in a way that I would talk about it, which is that Tesla is like this. It's like a tree. It's like you're growing. You got to prune the tree, prune the plant, whatever. You got to cut off the dead branches, take out all the crap. You got to make room so you can grow more, right? So it's like an organism. It's like alive. I mean, it's literally people that we're talking about. It's a network. It's nodes, right? So that's how you got to look at it. And when you're growing so fast, when you're one of these like Silicon Valley, whatever companies, you're one of these big tech companies, and you're innovating so much, that's what happens. You do these major cuts, and they always want to make some big headline like, oh, it's the end of the world. Like, why are they firing so many people? Like, no, they're firing because they're growing. I know you gotta think pretty intellectually about it to understand what's going on. But anyways, as soon as I heard that news, I'm in the gym. Boom, they're firing 14,000. I went on my phone. I'm like, 14,000 times like what? 60,000, 65,000. It came out to like close to $1 billion. I was like, perfect. Guess what? We just made $1 billion. Because now we're going to do what we were doing before, right? All the money coming in before, but we're going to do it and make $1 billion more a year. So that just made me more bullish, because I'm like, great, like there's a lot less people we have to pay, and we're going to sell the same amount of cars and more cars, and we're probably firing the worst people there anyway, and we're going to replace them with hopefully better people. But anyways, these are my thoughts on the earnings call. It was a very interesting moment in Tesla because of the chart. Like we said, the stock was at a really pivotal point. It's at 140. It's like, dude, if we don't hold here, we're going to $100. Like, there's no way you can't cookie cutter around that. We're going to 100. But we hit the bounce, and now we got to close out this week. Hopefully we close out this week strong. I want to see us move. I want us to close the week at 170. That would be juicy. If we can close the week at 170, that would be great. I would consider us, not out of the woodworks, but we're well on our way. If we dribble back down to the 140s by the end of this week, then we might still be in the same gutter. We're still in the same 140 zone. That's no bueno. That means $100 is the next stop, that's a big haircut. That's another like 30% haircut, So think about your entire position and losing another 30% of that. Are you okay with that? Can you handle that margin, all that? But if we close out this week over the 170, that's really good. That's really good for us. So that's what I got for you guys. I just want to make this quick little video. Check out the Substack if you haven't already. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy. Peace.